Hello everybody, welcome back to the Aussie Toffee podcast. If you're listening to this on Spotify, hello to your ears, and if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, hello to your faces. We're back for another episode, another week. This is episode number 5, number 5 of the Aussie Toffee podcast. So we're getting up there in terms of episodes, and I'm very happy to be doing so. This week is going to be a little bit of a short episode. I do have some things to do later on today, so I'm going to be going through two main things in this episode here. We'll be going through Everton Burnley, obviously doing a match review on that game, and then we're doing a match preview of Aston Villa versus Everton, which is happening later on the week on Saturday. We'll be doing a preview of the Carabao Cup game against QPR. I'll be doing that. We'll do that in next week's episode, because I'll be posting next week's episode earlier. Obviously, because I had to wait for this game to occur, the Burnley game, which is happening on Tuesday for me in Australia, and I usually like to get these episodes out by Tuesday. So, but you know what, without further ado, let's just get straight on into it. Let's do the match review of Everton versus Burnley. Interesting prospect of a game coming into this. Obviously, we had the international break, but if I'm honest, our team didn't really have too many internationals, obviously, because of the South American, a lot of our team being South American, and people in South America, like players or Premier League players, not being allowed to travel over to South America. We didn't experience the ban like other clubs did, obviously due to Everton allowing Richarlison to go to the Olympics, so our club really wasn't affected by all of that nonsense. So in terms of international break, I don't think our team really got affected all that much by it. Our team was pretty much together for the 2 weeks of the international break. Obviously, we had Salomon Rondon to come in later on. But overall, our squad wasn't really affected, so we can sort of focus on this game here. And I think, in a way, it helped. In a way, it didn't. Because obviously we started the game with more of like a 3-4-3 formation, which it looked like that on paper, but when we played it, it was more a 5-2-3, because Seamus Coleman and Luca Dean didn't really bomb on that much to make those like wing backs, so it was more like a solid 5 at the back. And you can see what the manager was thinking here in going a 5 at the back and putting 3 centre backs on their 2 strikers. Obviously, because their 2 strikers are very adept at heading balls, very physical presences, run the channels. They're very much an old school 4-4-2, put the ball over the top and do whatever you want to do because you're a big boy type of striker. You know what I mean? So in terms of playing the 3 centre backs, I think it was a good idea and in concept. And I think what was interesting is that they had Ben Godfrey in the middle of the 3, which personally I don't think worked. And I don't think that's his most comfortable position. I see the thinking behind it because he's a leader at the back, he's a talker, he's an organizer. But I think he's more suited, if you're going to play a 3 at the back, to put Ben Godfrey either on the left or the right side of the 3. Because I think what he does best is getting the ball, playing the ball out from the back and running with the ball. And I don't think you can do that if you're the centerpiece of the 3 at the back. I think later on in the game, when it switched to Michael Keane being the center of the 3, I think that worked a lot better than having Ben Godfrey in there. I think it suited Michael Keane more to be the centerpiece, and it suited Ben Godfrey more to be on either side of that centerpiece, and giving him the license to bomb on and pick passes and all that sort of stuff. And I think that worked really well. So we sort of have to talk about the elephant in the room. That first 30 or so minutes was god awful. Burnley, out of all teams, had more possession than us, and we were at home. The crowd was super quiet. Nothing was really going for us. You really didn't get Richarlison, Damari Gray, Andros Townsend into the game, Abdoulaye Doucouré. That first 30 minutes, it was really all Burnley, and it was really weird to see that they were trying to play some expansive football. And then later on in the game, they were playing such anti-football. It was so weird, and they were trying to slow the game down from minute 1, wasting time on the clock, and really being some gobshites. It was so annoying to watch, like just laying down on my bed on my watching on my TV, and I can't imagine how awful it would have been to watch Burnley beat Burnley inside the ground. Like, it must have been awful. But that first 30 minutes was just as awful. Like, we didn't get going at all. Like, we had nothing about us. We had no outlet. Like, I think the fact that we didn't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin up there really didn't help, because we tried to do the same things we did, or we would do, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin was there. But Richarlison just isn't Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Yes, he has a leap. Yes, he can get onto the back of headers, but The problem here is that Richarlison isn't as physical as a Dominic Calvert-Lewin can be, and their two centre-backs, James Tarkowski, who we'll get to in a moment, and Ben Mee, were just overpowering Richarlison as he tried to sort of bring the ball down and bring other players into play. And I think that as the half sort of got going, especially after that first 30 minutes or so, we had a little bit of a flourish. I think the best chance was that Abdoulaye Doucouré chance, where Townsend gets it on the wing, sort of weaves through a couple of players, lays it into Doucouré, and Doucouré, great save from Nick Pope, by the way, could have scored that one. And you sort of look at that and you think, okay, that's probably the best chance of the game. It came out of literally nothing. Can we build on that? Can we build on that sort of flurry? And then you sort of go into half-time at 0-0 and you're thinking, okay, it's 0-0. Can we make a change? Will the formation change? And I think realistically, the only change that came out of half-time was putting Michael Keane in the center of the three. I think a lot of people, myself included, were sort of crying out for a Rondon, a big lad, a physical presence, someone who knows the Premier League, someone that can get at those two centre-backs better than a Richarlison could in terms of a physical standpoint. But that didn't happen, and you're sort of looking at it all and you're thinking, okay, nothing's really changed. We're still playing the 5 at the back, which really hasn't been working out for us so far this game. And then they get that set piece, clears it, and then my problem here is that both Ben Godfrey and Luca Dean go out to clear one dude. I think you can see it, Ben Godfrey, I think it's one of the two, either Ben Godfrey or Luca Dean's telling the other to go back, but as soon as the realization hits, the ball's hit, I think it's Goodmanson that whacks the ball into the box, and it's literally no one's fault other than the fact that we had no one back there. That loss of either I would say the loss of a Ben Godfrey in there hindered us more, because Ben Mee had a header. And obviously it goes into the back of the net. And I personally don't think Michael Keane can do anything about that, because I think he had like 4 men on him. And how is he meant to mark 4 men in the box against Burnley? And I don't think Jordan Pickford could have done anything better either. But that goal goes in and you're thinking, bloody hell. Burnley are ahead. And they're going to do Burnley things. And they're going to just shithouse the game. And I think that would have happened any other season but this one. And I think this team has some sort of mettle, some sort of idea that they can still win the game even though they go behind. Our 2 home games so far this season have been us conceding and then scoring 3 goals to win the game. Coming back from adversity. That is what this team seems to be all about. Adversity. And the mentality that you can still win the game even though you go a goal behind. That this team has the quality to beat a Burnley, to beat a Southampton, even though they've conceded. And let's just talk about that first goal at the moment. That first goal, that Andros Townsend ball, bloody hell. What a ball that is to a big Mick Kegger header to go into the back of the net. And by the way, which will do Michael Keane a world of good. If you've watched every single episode or listened to every single episode of this podcast, you know that I have not been the biggest fan of Michael Keane. And I'm not going to hide that, because he's made mistakes to lead to goals this season. But him scoring that header will do him the world of good. For him to score that header for Goodison Park to go crazy, for him to score the equalizer against his old club, that'll do him the world of good in terms of confidence. And that can only... That is an intangible, a Michael Keane intangible, that man needs confidence to play football. And it's just known that man needs confidence to play football. And that'll give him the world of confidence to score that goal, an important goal. And that's just, it's just good for Michael Keane. And then let's get into what happened next. And what happened next has to be the craziest 6 minutes I've experienced for a long time. It was 6:30 in the morning. I'm screaming my lungs out, because I was like, no way. And that was the Andros Townsend goal. Fucking hell. I'm sorry for swearing, but fucking hell. What a hit. I have not seen a goal like that for a very long time, I can't remember I think the last time a goal like that was scored was the Wayne Rooney halfway goal against West Ham. Maybe there was a goal like as crazy as that after that, but I can't for the life of me remember one as special as that. Doucouré lays the ball into Townsend. Townsend, we know, is not the quickest bloke, but also Burnley aren't the quickest team, so he sort of picks the ball up, carries it, he sees Nick Pope a little bit off his line, and then just his left foot hits it. It doesn't even curl, it like just sort of dips up and then dips down at just the right time to be put into that top left-hand corner, and it's just a beautiful Andros Townsend goal. We know he has goals like that in his locker, like the one he scored against City, but for him to score one like that for Everton is absolutely special. Like, that goal was just wow. You know what I mean? It's one of those goals that it goes in and you can't believe it, and it's one of those things you're like, holy shit, a winger scored a goal for us. And our wingers don't score goals for us often. They really don't. And then the next goal that happens was scored by yet another winger. I think it was even, I feel like it was either Allen or Townsend sort of header it up. Doucouré brings it down, runs a little bit, sees Demarai Gray on his bike, and then just that ball is just incredible to Demarai Gray. It's like he's playing FIFA. He hits the triangle button and it's a through ball, cuts straight through their defense. Tarkovsky's on his ass, and Demarai Gray just accelerates, slots it in. That's 3 goals and 3 for him, and we have 2 wingers that score goals for us. How incredible is that? After years of crying out for a goal-scoring winger, we've got 2 for £1.7 million. How incredible is that? Demarai Gray yet again proving to fans why he's a fan favourite. His pace throughout the whole entire game, his aggressiveness, his pace, his desire to be on the front foot, the idea that every time that he has the ball, he wants to score, or he wants to create a chance for someone else to score. He just wants to attack. He's making up for lost time. He is 25 years old. He didn't get the chance at Leicester. He didn't get the chance at Bayer Leverkusen, but he's taking his chance here at Everton. He may not have thought that a club like Everton would ever come calling again, and now that he's here, he's making the most of his chance. Same thing with Andros Townsend. He said it in his post-match interview that he's been battling the bottom half of the table for a very long time, and now he's got the opportunity to come to Everton. And he's taken that chance. Both of them are taking that chance. And it's just, wow. Like, it's one of those things that 6 minutes and then the disallowed Doucouré goal, I was going mental. I was going absolutely mental when Doucouré scored that goal. It was offside. It was very well offside, but it was offside. But when he scored that goal, I was like, no way. We're putting 5 past Burnley and we're going top of the league. It didn't happen that way. We won the game, but you know, it was just a crazy 6 minutes. And I think that flurry doesn't happen if the manager doesn't make the Andre Gomez substitution. I think the Gomez substitution was so clever, so smart, and changed the game. Because Gomez coming on meant we went from the back 5 to a back 4. We had 3 in midfield, so our midfield was a lot better. We overpowered them in midfield because you had Allen sweeping and just doing his thing as a 6. You had Doucouré being box to box, and then you had Andre Gomez playing a little bit more like a traditional 8, or even like a 10 of sorts, because he just picked up the ball. He was so confident on the ball, so his passing range was very, very good, and something that we haven't seen from him in quite some time. And he was just calm. He was a calming presence. He took the ball. He wanted the ball. He controlled the game. It's unfortunate that the ball was behind him and he couldn't score that goal, where he just missed it on that right hand post. But his presence really, really helped this team create that 6 minutes of craziness. Without him, that doesn't happen. And it's great to see him, and again, it's great for his confidence as well. And it's good to see Andre Gomez succeeding. It's good to see Andre Gomez being the difference maker in this team. And it was honestly great to see him on that pitch and doing so well. But yeah, as I said, we win the game. It's 3-1. winger scoring goals. No Dominic Calvert-Lewin in this game, which was very, very worrisome. He'd been playing with a broken toe, and then he was ruled out of this game through a quadricep injury. It's only going to be a couple of weeks, so hopefully he's back before the game against United. We definitely are going to need him for that game. And then the week after, we have West Ham after United, so we're definitely going to need him back as soon as possible. So I was worrying not having him. No James Rodriguez in the squad either, even though we know that he's ready to go. We know that he's been training, but keep in mind, he is weeks behind the team. He is weeks behind in terms of match fitness, overall fitness. So it's going to take a while for him to get back to that peak fitness, and it's going to take a while for him to get into this team, because he is going to need to fight his way back into this team right now. He's going to need to fight against Alex Iwobi, Andre Gomez. And it's crazy that I'm saying that James Rodriguez is fighting Alex Iwobi and Andre Gomez to be in the starting 11 of Everton. But he is. He's going to have to show that he wants to work for it. He's going to have to show that he has a desire to run his bollocks off on this pitch and give his 100% effort. Because that's what Demarai Gray's doing. That's what Richarlison did all game. That's what Andros Townsend's doing all game. Decore's doing that all game. The whole team is doing that all game. Running their ass off, giving their 100%. James Rodriguez can't go out there and think he can just play like he's in his flip-flops all game. He can't do that. He needs to buy into the ethos of this team. If he wants to start in this team, if he wants to be on the bench for this team, he needs to show that he is going to be able to put in the effort that this team is putting in. And and it's just one of those things, right? I sort of want to again touch on James Tarkowski, who is absolute scum. By the way, that challenge on Richarlison was absolutely god awful. I don't care what anyone says. How that didn't receive a yellow is beyond me. Beyond me. He is not going for the ball at all. He's completely going for Richarlison. He is scum in my book. But yeah, that result brings us to top 4. Level on points with Chelsea, Man United and Liverpool. We're just behind them due to goal difference, but that's 10 points from 4 games. We haven't lost yet. We've won 3, drawn 1, and we are looking pretty good. It is early doors. I don't want to get ahead of myself, because last year I got ahead of myself and we fumbled the bag last year. But this year, I hope we don't do the same thing. As I said, and as I've been saying, Europe is the goal. We need Europe. Whatever form that takes shape in. Conference League, Europa League, Champions League would be incredible. But we need Europe. And we can get Europe. You look at all the teams from, I would say, 6 to 12, right? And it's not that hard. You would say your top 4 is your top 4. Man City, Chelsea, United, Liverpool. Like those 4 are on a different caliber to everyone else. 5th, I'd go Leicester. I think Leicester are very solid on there for 5th. But anywhere from 6 to 12, it's anyone's game. That second Europa League spot and that conference spot, you'll be fighting with your Tottenhams. You'll be fighting with your Leeds, your Arsenals. But if I'm honest with you, I would say we're better than, at the moment, we're better than Arsenal. We're better than Leeds right now. And honestly, I'd say right now we're better than Leicester. And Arsenal, they're still finding their feet. Tottenham obviously have done very well to start the season. They just lost to Crystal Palace, but even Crystal Palace could be in that conversation this season as well. But I think we're stronger than all those teams. I would say we're probably weaker than Tottenham, because Tottenham have Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. I would say that Leicester as a team are better than us, but we can definitely fight for 7th and 6th. I don't think this team is capable. We just need to take it week by week. This squad needs to go week by week with this. We can't get too ahead of ourselves. I feel like last season we might have gotten ahead of ourselves and just thought, since we have Carlo Ancelotti, we're going to qualify for Europe, and that didn't happen. We ended up finishing 10th. I think that this season, Rafa's not going to let the lads get ahead of themselves. We're going to take it game by game. That's all that we can do, and that's all that we need to do. We can't be looking at game 38 when it's only game 5 next week, right? We need to be taking it week by week. We can't get too ahead of ourselves. We need to just focus in on Villa, get a result there, and then go again. Can't get too ahead of ourselves. But that is the match review of Everton 3, Burnley 1. Good result, good 3 points. Top 4, baby. That is where we belong. Let's get into the match preview now. The Aston Villa Everton game. I'm just going to quickly check where Villa is on the table. They are currently 12th on the table. They got a win, they got a draw, and they've got 2 losses. Their previous game was against Chelsea, where they lost 3-0. And Villa are an interesting prospect. I think a lot of people, myself included, went into the season thinking, wow, Aston Villa have quite some team. Leon Bailey, which was heavily linked to Everton, who didn't go to Everton. I'm just readjusting the way I'm sitting. Didn't go to Everton and went to Villa, to a lot of people's disappointment. They signed Emi Buendia, they signed Danny Ings. Who else did they? They signed bloody everyone. They signed a lot of players this season. Obviously because they sold Jack Grealish. And I think that this team is just adapting. Like, Villa are just sort of figuring out how to play without Jack Grealish, because Jack Grealish is and was their talisman, and was someone that they heavily relied on in terms of goal scoring, in terms of in terms of just being that presence on the pitch, someone that can take a few eyes and take the attention of some other players, so that your players like your Ollie Watkins and your El Ghazis and all that sort of stuff can sort of do what they do without the attention being fully on them in terms of a defensive point of view. And I think Villa will be fine in terms of this season. I know a lot of people betted on them like qualifying and pushing for Europe, and that's not quite happening right now, but it is still early doors, and if they do pick it up, they can do that, especially with the players that they have and the players that they have signed. It's just about betting them in, right? It's about getting them into their system and doing something. So I think that on a Villa sense, I think that they will definitely pose a problem for us. It is at Villa Park, so we are away. And again, we don't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin for that game, assumingly, unless something miraculous happens. So we're going to have probably the same front three that we had against Burnley. And you look at that game and you think, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be another tough one like Leeds. Full crowd back at Villa Park. Villa are a big club. They are a massive club. Maybe if you started watching football in 2010, you wouldn't know that. But Villa are a big club. I do have a lot of respect for Aston Villa. But I think that Everton are better than them. And obviously I'm an Everton fan. But I think that this squad, and the way that we're playing now, I think that we can definitely beat them. I think we can't go at them with the same back five that we did against Burnley. I think that's a bit too negative. I think that we need to go at them with either we played more like a 4-2-3-1 at times against Burnley. But even that 4-4-2 that we've been playing with a Rondon in there, Rondon and Richarlison going at their back line. If I'm honest, I think that back line leaves something to be desired. I think that the defense is definitely not their strongest suit. I think their attack is exciting and it's threatening, and you look at the players that they have there, and while yes, it hasn't gelled yet, the players that they have there can definitely cause some problems. But I think that with the front three that we have, Andros Townsend, Richarlison, and Demarai Gray, we can cause that backline problems. I don't think that Matty Cash is anything too amazing. I don't think Target is anything amazing either. I don't think that Tyrone Mings is anything incredible. I don't think that Ezri Konsa is incredible. Personally, for me, that's just my opinion. They're good footballers, don't get me wrong, but I personally think that our attackers can definitely best their defenders. I think that this game is going to be battled and won in midfield as well. I think that the energy that Abdoulaye Doucouré brings will bring us something more. I think that the defensive solidity that Allen will bring to this team will again bring us more. And I think that we need to play another one in midfield there, whether that be Andre Gomez, whether that be a player like Alex Iwobi maybe, or whether that be James, whether James is ready to start for us in that number 10 role. I think if he is in this game, can produce something magical. So again, Villa will be interesting, and Villa will be a hard team to beat. I just think we can do it. I just think that with this team right now, with the confidence that it's at, it can definitely get a result here, whether that be a draw, but I really want it to be a win. Villa haven't started this season well. And granted, they've played some tough teams, but they haven't started this season well. And we can definitely go at them and beat them. There's no reason why we can't. They've only won one game. They've drawn a game and they've lost 2. They're on 4 points this season, we're on 10. They've faced harder opponents than we have. Fair enough. But you can only beat what's in front of you, and we've done that, barring Leeds, but that was a good point away anyway. So I think that we can definitely win this game. I think that this game is definitely a game that will pose problems to us on a defensive point of view. In terms of center backs, if I'm honest, I'd play... Oh, that's a tough one. Because I think all three center backs did well. I think Yerry Mina, if he's fit, has to start. And it's just whether or not you start Ben Godfrey or Michael Keane. Personally, for me, I would start Michael Keane purely because of the pace. Oh, sorry, not Michael Keane, Ben Godfrey. Purely because of the pace that they have in attack. Players like Leon Bailey, players like Danny Ings will probably start for them. Emi Buendia, I think that those three in particular will definitely garner some attention. I think that we need the pace of Ben Godfrey. But even say if we're in a position where we're up maybe 2-0, you bring on a Michael Keane and you make that 5 at the back and you be defensively solid and you win the game. But I think that Ben Godfrey and Yerry Mina are starting centre backs for this Villa game, because Villa are going to be a lot more explorative. They will try to play football, whereas Burnley don't try to play football. Villa will try to play football. So I think we need a bit of pace in that back line, and Ben Godfrey brings that. So I'd definitely play him over Michael Keane, even though Keane scored the goal on the weekend, or literally just then at the time that I'm recording this podcast. But I'd definitely go ahead and play Ben Godfrey ahead of Michael Keane for this game. I think our star boy in this game will definitely be Demarai Gray. Can Demarai Gray get at their defense the way that he has literally all season? Can he continue his goal scoring form? Can he make it 4 for 4? Will I have to put him in my FPL team? Maybe yes. Maybe I will put him in my FPL team, because the boy scores goals. He scores goals. There's not a lot to say, to be honest. This is a pretty short section of a match preview. But as I said, I think that we can definitely win this game. I think this game is definitely going to be battled and won in midfield. I think that this game is one that we can take the scruff of the neck of and win this game. Can we make it 5 positive? Can we go 5 games undefeated this season? Can we put the sword to Villa? I think we can. I genuinely think that we can, because as I've said, I don't think they're that good yet. I think that it's early doors. They have nothing to worry about. They will gel as a team. But right now, where they are, Everton should be beating them. So I think that will come away. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to say Everton 2, Aston Villa 1 for this game. I think we're going to come in with the 3 points. We're going to get the result. But that's all I have time for today. I have other things to attend to on this day of recording, so I'm gonna go ahead and attend to those things. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening this podcast. Next podcast, we're gonna be doing the preview for the QPR game, and then the next league game as well. Hopefully will be a longer episode. I don't think I have much going on next week, so I will be definitely doing a longer episode next week. But thank you for watching and listening. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Me and Lil J, we Scotty MJ. Bashing the rock, we hitting the fade. Pull up in a whip with 21 bays. Here come the bastards, 21 days. Gun you, boy, I know he's a waste. Baby, I know that you want a little taste. I know you want all the bass in your face. Brand new bag and brand new nails. Me and Lil J, we Scotty MJ. Bashing the rock, we hitting the fade. Pull up in a whip with 21 bays. Here come the bastards, 21 days.